So you ready? Okay, so welcome to our City of Ketchikan seasonal sales tax Q&A. We just have a short presentation to discuss the basics, and then we'll open it up for questions if anybody has questions. So first, the effective date is April 1. And that first date takes into consideration an increase in the city's sales tax rate. So the new tax rate starting April 1 through September 30th is 5.5% for the city and a total of 8%, including the borough's 2.5% sales tax. Then October 1, the rate will reduce down to a total of 5.5%, which includes 3% for the city and 2.5% for the borough. Then once that's in effect, it'll toggle back between October 1 to March 31. Every year it'll be a 6-month duration for the lower rate of 5.5%, and then April 1 to September 30th for 8% and 8% total rate. Unless, of course, it's adjusted after that. The residential rent rate was just changed to be a flat rate starting April 1, 2023. A flat rate of 5.5% total, 3% city, and 2.5% borough. So that rate is expected to stay the same for residential rents only. This is not, the residential rents do not include the transient, and transient, the definition is anything under 30 consecutive days. If it's over 30 consecutive days, it's considered residential rent. So, and the definition of residential rent is under the Ketchikan Municipal Code, Chapter 3.04.010. The sales tax cap has not changed. So however you need to apply the sales tax cap, whether residential rent or all other purchases, the cap has not changed. It's $1,000 for residential rents and $2,000 for all other purchases. Let's see, we had a question related to special orders, and the customer, the business will charge the rate that's in effect when they bill the customer. So at the time that they expect the customer to make a payment is the time that they will, at that date, they will charge that effective rate. So it's very similar to the no tax day. If you place an order and you're expected to make payment that day to get the no tax, it's the same thing on a special order. So special orders, if you're paying the rate that day for that special order, then that's the rate you have to charge. So if you're expected to pay for a special order when it comes in and they bill it to you at that point in time, then you pay the rate when that order comes in. So that is a little bit flexible with the vendor and the customer, but comes down to when it's billed to the customer. Sales for services. The rate that's in effect when the service is rendered, I go in today and I call someone to come and fix something, plumbing at my house. That is the rate that I am charged for today's service. So the date those services are rendered. Regardless of when I pay for that service, if I need that service today, I'm paying today's tax rate. For sale of goods, when the goods are tendered, so I go to the grocery store, today, I pay today's tax rate. I go to the grocery store in April, I pay April's tax rate. So point of sale, those are a little bit easier because you're paying for the goods at the time that you're paying at the time that you buy the goods. So the tax rate in effect that date is what you pay, and then the vendor remits to the borough. I think we had an example of an appliance purchase. I can go into the store today and buy that appliance regardless of when it's actually delivered to my home. If I buy it today, it's today's tax rate. If I buy it in April, when I go into the store and pay for it in April, that's the date I'm paying the tax. So, on the city's website, under latest news, we have the ordinance for the seasonal sales tax. We have a Q&A, which includes some additional questions that were asked and answered. There's a link to the code in the chapter for the seasonal sales tax, the current tax, as well as the ordinance for the new seasonal sales tax, because we don't typically update the code until it's effective. So we have the ordinance with the new sales tax as well as the current sales tax through the end of March. This presentation will be on there as well as a recorded version of this session. So if you needed to go back and listen to it again or see the presentation, the frequently asked questions, those are all will be on the website under latest news. So we will open it up to questions, and Sean and I are going to tag team so you don't have to listen to me talk the whole time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to come up to the podium. It looks like we have someone with a question.
Yes. So regarding the point of sale and when the tax is applicable, what about situations when the item is financed? So if I purchase the refrigerator today, but I want to finance it over 6 months, how does that work?
It shouldn't matter when you receive the money from the customer. As soon as you bill it to the customer, then that's when the tax is applicable. So regardless of when I pay it or how long it takes me to pay it. So if I finance it over the 6 months, I'm still charged at the point of sale. So today I go in and buy it, I might finance it, but that's the collection of the funds for the item is a different matter, and the tax that's due is the tax at the date of purchase.
And then regarding the short-term rentals for those under 30 days, am I charging the transient tax as well as the sales tax?
Yes.
Your turn. Thanks.
So I just wanted to clarify for goods versus services, and it kind of goes along, I think, the special orders that you talked about a little bit, but so for entertainment, basically like shows, things like that, because I work with tourism specifically, so we do a show. So if they're purchasing like online, for example, now, or calling in ahead of time to purchase for an event they're going to attend in the summer, my understanding is that means that it's a service, so they would be paying the 8.5% or 8% now, because even though they're purchasing it ahead of time, right?
I would say yes, that at the time that they receive the service, so they go to the show, is the rate during that time. That's when you're going to recognize the revenue for the show is, so let's say that's June, then you would be charging the 8% sales tax.
Okay, so for anybody that has already purchased at the old rate, so now there's obviously a new rate, there's a discrepancy there. Is there an advisement for best practices that just then comes out of the business now is to pay that difference out of what their revenue would have been for that sale? Because we've already collected, but now the price is because the tax.
Yeah, how far in advance do you collect?
Well, they pay at the time that they book, so we've been taking bookings starting from last October, currently.
We might want to talk to the borough on how they've handled that in the past. I mean, because they do the collection and administration, they may make exceptions for that. So I can understand how that would be a challenge.
And the other side of that challenge, it's the when the tax rate goes down. So we're also currently taking bookings for October, but our system is like we can only charge one tax rate. So that means that we're now charging people for our system. It can only charge one. So if somebody pre-books now for October when the tax rate would be lower, the system's going to automatically charge them the higher rate.
Right. Yeah. That is not something we anticipated. I guess to some extent, I've had other people ask the question about, well, if I can't get my people to pay, how am I, what rate am I charging? And one idea was to charge a flat rate, and then you back into what your actual revenue is, and so then you're capturing the sales tax. It's not an averaging, but it's giving you, so let's say you charge $80 flat fee. So you back into your sales tax, divide by 1.08 during the summer, 1.055 during the other months, and then adjust your revenue that way. I mean, that for some can be a little more complicated, but it doesn't lock you into a specific rate or make you take a loss on paying that tax. I would probably go ahead and submit, if you're taking orders, submit the rate, submit it as the rate is right now. And then that is something that we can work with the borough on and then maybe update and get you an answer. Can we get your name?
Yeah, my name's Taya Plamondon. It's Teya.
Why don't we, sorry, we may want to share your contact, not share your contact
Oh, sure.
information with the
Yeah.
world.
Oh, yeah.
After the meeting.
No,
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are excellent questions. So I think if we meet with the borough, see what a good response would be, and then we'll update our frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
to make sure we have some-
And that will apply to any of those
Yes.
seasonal
Yeah.
conversions or businesses. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So did I.
Okay.
I
Tim?
do have one simple question. Follow-up. Do you know if the forms will look different?
Yes, they are supposed to incorporate more columns on the form to allow, so if you collected or needed to make an adjustment for a previous period, you can submit, a quarter one and a quarter two, or, whichever quarters you need to record on that sales tax report. So they are planning to put multiple columns for additional quarters on the report.
Okay. And I appreciate the info. When I first heard about it, we're just services, and we always struggle with sales tax because it's, not something we have a small outfit. But and my head was going to explode. I was like, how are we going to do this? But I saw the borough had a nice little, it's in your thing here, and
Yes.
just kind of clarified it. And I thought, okay. And this is very helpful. So thanks. I wish more people attended.
Well, thank you. Okay. Well, if anybody's watching and would like to send in any questions, are we sending those to the clerk or finance?
Info at. It would be, you can send any questions via email to info@city.ketchikan.ak.us. That'll come in through our clerk and manager's office. We'll distribute accordingly. You can
So-
always give us a call.
We can add that then to the frequently asked questions then as well. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for coming and thanks to those that are watching.
Thank you guys for being the guinea pigs on our new outreach mentality.